Hello, everybody. So, welcome to another episode um, from Technical Sports Services. So, today I'd like to go through basically what we can offer in terms of analysis for swimming. So, you'll have seen in our launch video that we are starting out doing a couple of different sports, and swimming will be one of the main ones due to the qualifications that myself and my brother hold within the sport. So there are many different types of analysis for swimming, but we're going to focus on really two types that we can provide. One of them is technical analysis, so a breakdown of the stroke, a breakdown of a specific part of the stroke, underwater, dives, um, any of these parts that potentially might affect the swimmer's um, stroke ability, efficiency, uh, these kind of things going forward is something that we'll look to do as part of this analysis. The other side is around race analysis. Now, specifically at the moment, there obviously isn't much racing going on. However, with it going potentially going virtual, there's a huge opportunity for us to do this and help out different clubs that potentially don't have this facility available. And I mean, this will cover a lot of clubs. So your performance units and some of your bigger clubs will do this if they have paid coaches whose full time job or volunteers who spend their entire time doing swimming related stuff, then they will be able to do this analysis during the day. But for most of us, the majority of the swimming coaching staff are volunteers that have work during the day. And it's just not possible either during a gala, during a competition, or at training to do this kind of analysis in this depth for the amount of swimmers you have. It's just not possible. Having tried this myself, I find it is nigh on impossible to do unless you're focusing in on one or two swimmers or one or two races throughout a whole weekend, or you have time to sit down and analyze a video to see where the swimmer can improve. So again, the first one is the stroke analysis. So this could be anything. We could come out and see a person swim. If they wish, we can receive a video, do an analysis on the video, and then have a meeting with the swimmer. It could be a coach prompted thing. Coach could ask for advice, come through to us. We can have a look at the swimmer's technique, feedback to the coach, and let them feedback to the swimmer, which is probably a preferred option. And really, it just provides um, an extra bit of expertise in certain areas that maybe they don't have at a certain club. Um, I'm hoping that we'll be able to provide help for anyone. From my experience, I have coached up to a fairly high level now. I've been to an international meet. I've had an international medalist, British finalist, multiple national champions. So, and all my program is based on technique. It always has been. So, I feel like I'm in a good place to advise on stroke analysis through the time I've done. The other side, I'll just take you through. So, if I just share my screen here. So, this is um, our test report. So basically, uh, if you were at a competition or we're doing a time trial, you give us a call, we will come along. We have uh, programs in place that generate these reports that we can fill out. Now, we can fill these reports out with absolutely anything you want. For the purposes of this, it is all based around stroke count, stroke rate, time, underwater distances off the wall. And then from the end of that, we've put out a meter per stroke based on the other information. We've taken different parts of the race and put them into this program, and it has generated this report that can let you see differences that you might not pick up on usually. Again, from my point of view, this would be in the case of a swimmer, for instance, maybe misses out on district finals round one, wants to improve over the month or improve for a couple of months for the nationals coming up. So this gives they will come to us, we will do this test report, it will get sent directly to whoever they want, the parent, the swimmer themselves, or more importantly, the coach. And then it is up to the coach to analyze it. So that leaves the power into changing exactly what's going on down to the coach. We will just supply the information, because to be quite honest, I believe that every coach should have their own way of looking at things. They'll have their own processes in place, and really, if they can evaluate the information that's on there and feed it back to the swimmer, it's much better than if we do it. So, for instance, here, this test report here, we have a collection of raw data. So this is for a swimmer that I've used videos from. They have a 50 backstroke, 100 backstroke, and 200 backstroke. So we've taken the distance performed. Now, this template can be adjusted for anything. It can be adjusted for 50, 100, 200, and then we have 100 templates all the way up to 1500. So it can be done for an entire 1500. It would just take obviously more work for the longer distances. We have the stroke count. Stroke count difference is just a general to show you the difference in stroke count per length. Breathing count we've not put in. It's actually quite hard to look at, but again, it's something we can put in. Underwater meterage, the difference in your underwater meterage per length, the time per length, the difference in time, and then the meters per stroke is worked out from all this other information. So all this is put in, and again, I know that for the performance units, these guys can do this, but this is more for the smaller clubs that just don't have facilities for this. I've been to the Scottish national squads, I've coached with them, and they can do this easy peasy, and they get it done when they go to the national squads. But for most clubs, this is just not something you can do. So we've taken all this information and basically we've generated some graphs from it. So this is like a graph showing the stroke count per 25. Obviously, this can be done per 50 if it's long course, and it shows you a difference in the stroke count. Now, this person stroke count goes up as they get tired, right? So again, you can leave that down to the coach to analyze why that is. Is it because they're going less distance off the wall? Is it because they're getting tired and they're not catching the water as well? There could be numerous different reasons, but again, that's up to the individual coach to analyze, unless they want us to do it for them. Time per 25, again, straightforward. It's basically just a time graph. Underwater performance per 25. So if you are top notch underwater, this should be level, right? We don't at our level, 9 times out of 10, you don't expect swimmers to be able to go 15 meters off every wall. The pros, they do that on a timely basis. But again, this person, as they go through, the underwater gets less and less and less. So really, a huge improvement for this person here would be to level this underwater distance out. And I understand that the reason will be tiredness. But again, this can be practiced in training when tired, so that when it comes to the situation in a race, this can be leveled out. And that would provide a huge improvement for this person in general. But again, without seeing this in graph form, it's very hard for them to understand. If you just explain it to them off the top, they'll just forget. And again, the meters per stroke is then calculated from all the other parts. So you can see that if the stroke lengthens, if it shortens up, why is that happening? Again, you can use the other facts here to figure out why that actually happens. So it's very simple looking. It's very simple to understand. Again, we can put in whatever you want. Reaction times, we add reaction times for one swimmer that can be put in to see how you differ overall. 4 times you swim the same event, you can see the difference in your reaction time, the difference in your underwater, to see over time if you improve. For me personally, one of the most one of the people that I used this on most recently was a guy called Fraser Agnew. Now, for those of you that know Fraser in Scottish swimming, Fraser was a extremely talented athlete, but his skills and learning how to race and learning how to control his breathing and his underwater needed a lot of work. So this is what I used to do it. We used it through training, and I never once had to show him this, but because we never had this kind of graphs and stuff in process. But this is the same process I used for him to let him understand exactly why the time was coming down, where he needed to improve, and he obviously went along to being double Scottish national champion. He was the British finalist, and obviously he won a silver medal in the Geneva International meet. So this does work for the top athletes, but it also works for the younger ones. I've used it for a 12-year-old girl for districts. Breaststroke stroke rate wasn't consistent at all. It was all over the place over 200 meters. So we had her control her stroke rate in training, trying to make sure that it come down to the same amount as much as possible every length. The pullouts happened to the same distance every length. And she knocked something like 21 seconds off her 200 breaststroke time over a 3-month period. So it can be used on a number of different levels. But as I said, really for me, I'd like to see it used by the smaller clubs, because we don't have the facilities to do this on a mass scale. This is something that we'd like to offer going forward. So one thing I'd like to offer today is I'd like to offer one club the opportunity to have 3 races analysed. So it can be one person, 3 different races are the same. It can be 3 different people doing a race each. But I'll offer one club the chance to have this done for nothing. And then they can use that and see how they find it and feed back to us. And then we're still working through this. So again, if any extras need added, or there are any things you would specifically like to see in your report, then you can obviously let us know going forward. So that's kind of what I wanted to share today. Again, feel free to get in contact with us about anything. We can talk through some of this stuff with you, see where you'd like changes or improvements, and we can see how we go from there. Thank you very much for your time.